Independent off-tube studio commentary from the AT&T Stadium in Arlington as the game gets underway now for the second half. Goalless here between the Netherlands and Japan, and certainly the better impression made early on by the Netherlands. Japan then responded with a bit of attacking possession themselves, but the strong end to the half would have been encouraging for Ronald Koeman, albeit only really a couple of saves for Zion Suzuki to make, and actually only one real sort of diving save. There was a header at the end of the half which was pretty much straight at the goalkeeper, but now the Dutch with a bit of purpose pushing that ball forward, and Somerville is onside as he goes down the right hand side into the penalty area, plays that ball across. Oh, it's a really telling touch at the last there from Watanabe. Had he not done that, it would have been a tap in there for Cody Gakpo, but Reinders still keeps the ball alive on the left hand side. He rolls it back in towards midfield, and the Dutch start again. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and Will Maxwell taking the action. I'll bring Will in just seconds because here come the Dutch again at the edge of the area now with Gravenberg. Tries to find space for the shot. No, he threads the ball through towards Marlon. Challenge comes in, but to the Dutch recycling. This is the sort of start we expected from the Dutch.
Yeah, this is much better. They're playing the ball around a lot quicker. They're finding gaps, and they almost got that opening if it wasn't for some wonderful defending from Watanabe. And they just lose possession again there, though, the Dutch. But it had to be a better ball in from Somerville. But you've got to give all the credit to Watanabe to get that vital toe to it. But much, much better. It's now all whether or not the Dutch can maintain this tempo.
That's going to be the question now, isn't it? Whether or not they're able to actually keep this tempo, get the early goal, and then potentially get a second, because you always know there's a goal in Japan, as we saw that in the first half with a couple of decent chances they created. No changes at half-time, so it is Verbruggen in goal for the Netherlands. A back four of Dumfries, Van Hekke, Van Dijk and Van de Ven. Gravenberg, De Jong and Reinders are the three in midfield, with Somerville, Gakpo and Marlon as the attacking three. I'll do the Japan side in a second, because here come the Netherlands again with Dumfries breaking into the box, plays it across the 6-yard box. It just needs a touch, but that ball was just hoisted maybe a little bit too quickly, and in the end nobody able to react. As far as Japan, it is Suzuki in goal. It's a back three of Watanabe, Taniguchi and Ito. Then it's Doan, Sano, Kamada and Nakamura as the four in midfield, with Kubo, Maeda and Ueda as the attacking three. But certainly it's clear that Ronald Koeman has told his players to start the second half in the same way that they did the first, perhaps just with a little bit more purpose. But now it's Ueda bringing the ball away here for Japan. Does he keep that in play? He doesn't, but it has gone out for a throw to Japan here on the right-hand side. And Ritsu Doan waiting to restart play, just throws this out towards Watanabe. And he's thinking about playing it long, but in the end just decides to play it square to Taniguchi. But now, how did Japan respond after that bright start from the Netherlands?
Well, they have to do what they've always been doing, in that they're very much risk-averse. They won't try and take the game to the Dutch. They'll just keep their shape, make sure they are not carved open with that much ease that they just were then. They will frustrate the Dutch, and they'll bide their time and wait for their moment to strike. And once they've got possession in around the halfway line, or maybe into the Dutch half, that's when you'll begin to see them kick up a few gears and maybe think, can we get at this Dutch defence?
Got to try and maintain that high line as much as possible. Certainly that seemed to be the most effective way for Japan to keep the Netherlands at bay in the first half, is to just keep them at bay when the Netherlands have that slow and steady possession. It's what Ronald Koeman's side do once they start being a bit more direct and start pushing through down the right and left hand side. That's when the Japan have to be careful. Now they're trying to be a bit more direct themselves. The ball lofted into the penalty area, but it's still a good few yards away from Ueda as it ends up in the hands of Bart Verbruggen. And then ball out from Van Hekke. A little bit risky, but it does reach De Jong. He then finds Gravenberg in midfield. Just slows his run down back towards Frankie de Jong. Now here comes Virgil van Dijk, well into the Japan half now, out towards Gakpo here on the left-hand side. He's trying to get away from Doan with pace, but Doan stays with him, then he gets into his way. He's going to win a free kick. That's clever there from Cody Gakpo. It's one of those grey areas in football where Doan didn't really do anything wrong. For him not to give away a free kick, he'd almost have to dive out the way there.
Yeah,
but then saying that, he does get his body in the way slightly.
Yeah, I mean, Doan was just a bit trapped there. The moment Gakpo flicks it past him, he doesn't have the time to get away from the collision of Gakpo, and because of the proximity to his teammate as well, he had nowhere to go to try and get out the way. So the moment the contact came in, he tried to go down to make it look like he was bundled over by Gakpo, but it was always going to be a free kick in favour of the Dutch.
It was indeed, and it's going to be Tiani Reinders now to whip this in, although he's just being delayed slightly by our referee. He wants to do a little bit more housekeeping inside that penalty area. Grappling is supposed to be one of the hot topics for VAR to be keeping an eye on at this tournament, but here comes Reinders now. That's a very low, flat, disappointing cross. Doan heads it clear De Jong now recycles it for the Netherlands, a long way out from goal, finds Gravenberch. He then whips it in with a bit more pace. Headed out from Van Dijk, and that's the goal that gives the Netherlands the lead on 50 minutes. Virgil van Dijk crouching down, direct header in off the post. And after the initial cross from the free kick was disappointing, the follow-up effort into the box is much better. And it's captain Van Dijk who gives the Netherlands the lead.
His 13th international goal is a fantastic header by Virgil van Dijk. Some of the Japanese defenders and players are asking the question. They thought there was a push made by the Dutch captain in order for him to get the half-yard of space to put it into the back of the net. Of course, that will be checked by VAR, but take nothing away from the header from the Liverpool man. Put in a perfect place, leaving Zion Suzuki with absolutely no chance. Brilliant header.
It was a great header. Now we'll see. Is there enough? First of all, there's no offside. Now, is there enough of a push there to say that's going to be disallowed? I would be surprised. I mean, the replay we've just seen has only sort of seen the after effects of Watanabe being pushed away. That replay as well doesn't show the specific split second when there's an alleged push from Van Dijk. But I've got to say, I love Van Dijk's position after he heads the ball. He sort of crouches down and almost follows that ball in off the post. Ronald Koeman loves that header as well. As we saw Hajime Moriyasu there just asking the question of our fourth official. She was reassuring him that it is all going to be checked, but I'm not seeing much of a reason why that would be disallowed as it stands, unless we see another angle maybe.
Yeah, we haven't seen a replay that actually sees the full pushing motion by Van Dijk. We just see Watanabe sort of fly forward and not get contact with the ball. It looks like the goal is going to stand after a very, very quick check. So Japan now have it all to do it. Now they can't afford to sit back on the laurels. They will have to come forward.
They have to come forward, and as I say, I think that if that was a Premier League game, I think we'd probably struggle to say that goal should be disallowed. We'll have a look now from an aerial view here, how much contact there is with Van Dijk.
I mean,
they are just showing us the offside, sadly, which we could see with the naked eye after the first replay. There was never any issue of an offside, but hopefully we might see another replay of the push. No, I think there's a little nudge there, but I almost think that Watanabe maybe is trying to add a little bit himself.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much of a pushing motion. There's definitely two hands on the back of Watanabe, but I think it's more to steady himself, and it's just that the usual jostling that you'll see in the middle of a penalty area rather than an actual shove by the Liverpool captain. It's not like the Van Dijk necessarily needs to shove anyone out of the way in order to get the header. He's that good in the air. He'll back himself to win headers fairly, and I think that is a completely fair header.
No, absolutely, and as I say, now early on in the second half, we're only 8 minutes into the second half in this game, or indeed the third quarter, he says, with tongue-in-cheek, but the ball now out on the right-hand side here with Dumfries, played back towards Van Hekke. Frankie de Jong, now a square to Virgil van Dijk. Thought about going long, but again, same old pattern that we saw previously with the Dutch in possession. Japan trying to stay as high up the field as they can, but that plan isn't going to work entirely now because, of course, they have got a deficit to try and make up. So at some point, they are going to have to just be that little bit more expansive. A through ball there from Van Hekke was optimistic, to say the least. It eludes everyone in an orange shirt and finds its way through towards Zion Suzuki. Just waiting to clear this one long. Virgil van Dijk now just 7 games away from his centenary appearance with his nation. So 13th goal as well, as Will mentioned. A long ball there from out from defence there from Watanabe. He's been picked off, and now a great chance here for the Dutch as the ball's played in towards Gravenberch, who'd push forward. Ball deflected out for a throw, but I mean, if Japan are going to be sitting back and giving the ball away as well, that's not going to help them at all.
No, not at all. They need to compose themselves, and they can't allow the head of steam to be built by the Dutch, because if they get a second, then they're in real trouble, because, especially with how the tournament is at the moment. It's looking very likely that just a win should be enough to put you through into the round of 32, and that's where goal difference and goals scored could come into play. It's why Scotland beating Haiti, massive that they got the 3 points there. The fact it's only a 1-0 victory could cost them if they were to finish third.
No, absolutely, and as I say, again, with tongue-in-cheek, it would almost be very Scotland-like to do exactly that, to end up having a decent tournament with a couple of good results, but missing out because of 1 or 2 goals. And as I say, that's something that is a risk for everyone. It's a huge tournament with 48 teams, but because it is 48, it's not a number that evenly breaks down into 32 and 16, etc. So you are going to have those third-place teams, as Will mentioned. And it does mean to say that goals scored, goals conceded, that scraping 0-0 draw that you get against somebody, that may actually prove to be very, very crucial in terms of ensuring progression to the knockout stage. But since that goal, which has been about 5 minutes ago, we've barely had any possession for Japan at all. It's all been the Netherlands, and that is a problem, I think, for Moriyachu's side. They've got to try and break it down, because right now the Dutch are just way too comfortable.
Yeah, they're really comfortable. They're not really being pressurised by any of the Japan defence. An opportunity here for Somerville.
Yeah, Somerville keeps that one in play. It was a long ball play down the right-hand side. He was trying to play a square for Daniel Marlon. In the end, there were just too many Japan bodies in the way, and it deflects out for a corner. But that was very slow from the Dutch, just nice, steady possession. Suddenly a ball over the top from Dumfries, and the Japanese defence were a little bit slow to react.
He's been very bright so far in this game, Somerville, with his pace and his link-up play down that right-hand side. Does so well to get in behind Hiroki Ito on that right-hand side, but just can't get enough purchase on that cross. We're seeing another replay from the ref cam. Yeah, that's no push whatsoever for Van Dijk's goal. It's not even two arms, it's one arm in the small of the back of Watanabe. Again, not a pushing motion, just the defenders got it all wrong.
Well, Watanabe didn't even appeal.
No.
You could see in those first few seconds after the goal when he never even looked towards the referee, as Verbruggen has to rush his clearance there slightly. The Dutch were sending the ball all the way back towards their own penalty area, but on this occasion Japan were actually pressing, and in the end the goalkeeper just forced to hurry his clearance, but he gets a lot of distance on it, so the ball's in midfield. That's a lovely turn in midfield though there from Maeda, getting out towards the left-hand side, a cross coming in, and the ball just doesn't quite get through towards Maeda. But it's cleared back into midfield. Here is Ito finding Nakamura. There's an overlap here down the left-hand side from Maeda. He stays on side as well. It's with Kubo now. Back towards Nakamura. And he goes for goal! Oh! What's an equaliser? Japan are back in this one just 7 minutes after conceding. And it's Kaito and Nakamura with the goal. And it's a fabulous strike as well. And it came from absolutely nowhere. The Dutch were comfortable.
Well, I mentioned in the first half that he's not shy of going for goal, considering he had scored 10 in 25, even with that earlier opportunity, which he didn't shoot when we thought he should have pulled the trigger. But that is exactly what the 25-year-old can do. Just getting it onto his right boot. I'll have to see replay if there's any form of deflection that takes it past Verbruggen, but take nothing away from the forward play from Nakamura. Fantastic midfield play just to open up that space, and it's a fizzing drive into that bottom right-hand corner.
It really is, and to say there is, nobody could be offside because of Mickey van der Ven. He was at least 2 or 3 yards behind the rest of his teammates. So although Maeda is potentially getting a slight nick on that, or maybe even obscuring the view of Verbruggen, it's all academic because there is no offside. I think there might, but Verbruggen's not saving that anyway. Once Nakamura hit that, Verbruggen's not going to get to it.
No, I think the deflection slightly comes from Van Hecker anyway, rather than Maeda, but it's definitely Nakamura's goal. Verbruggen, he's unsighted by the players in front of him. It's a fantastic finish. Now we're back level terms, one apiece. Do Japan revert to what they were doing before in soaking up the pressure, or do they stick with this expansive style as it's brought them the goal?
If I was them, I'd go for option B, because I don't think there's any justification for them sitting back and just encouraging the Dutch to score another goal. Japan have been able to rattle the Netherlands, and potentially just that equaliser already might just throw Ronald Koeman's side slightly. They might start taking a few more risks. They might start to be more susceptible to a mistake. So it's bubbling under very, very nicely now. We're just coming up to the hour mark. 58 and a half minutes gone. Unofficially dependent on off-tube studio commentary. 1-1 between the Netherlands and Japan. Long throw here from Van Hecker from the right-hand side. Only cleared to the edge of the area. Gravenberg then recycles it, but his pass to Dumfries is cut out by the goal scorer Nakamura. It is out for a throw to the Netherlands again here on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. And there are rules about length of time on throw-ons. I've not actually seen referees being particularly pedantic on that yet, just because I think players are generally trying to be quick with it. Dumfries does get this ball into the penalty area, but the referee is stopping play there, saying that Taniguchi was just grabbing onto Van der Ven, so the throw-on will be repeated. That's what it's come to in football now, where throw-ons are being treated like corners, where the referee is stopping play before he allows the ball to be played into the box. But Dumfries now A bit more time just to measure his run up and get as much elevation and distance on this as he can. Van Dijk and Van de Ven are the two targets inside the 6-yard box. That's where the ball has gone, but it's that man Nakamura again. He heads it clear. Somerville tries to head that ball back towards Gravenberch, and then it's Dumfries with the header back into the penalty area. Oh, and that ball's bouncing there. Ojeda should have dealt with that a little bit quicker. Has he got away with it? He has, and it's going to be a corner when really Japan should have actually cleared their lines.
Now, the moment he lets that bounce, it gives Van Dijk that impetus to come and challenge for it. He was always going to win the ball. Does so well to flick it off of Ojeda, who just can't get back in time to ensure he keeps the ball in play. Corner kick. Dangerous times now here for Japan and for the Dutch to maybe take the lead again.
Tierney Reinders now standing over this one. It's going to be an outswinger from the right-hand side. Plenty to aim for inside that penalty area. Here comes the ball from Reinders. Oh, it's just away from Van Hecker. And now the Dutch have got to come back because all of a sudden it breaks nicely here for Japan. And they're on the counter. And that ball is threaded through down the right-hand side. And it's Watanabe of all players. And he gets clipped. He gets brought down. That's going to be the first booking of the game. Surely, referees, and absolutely no doubt, Crescencio Somerville is going to pick up the yellow card. But that's taking one for the team there. Somerville knew what he was doing. I just wonder maybe if Watanabe got a little bit of a nosebleed being that high up the field.
That very, very possibly. He didn't really believe that he could take it a bit any further. You've also got to give a lot of credit to Crescencio Somerville for tracking back in the way he did. He never gave up the ghost and always looked likely to make up the ground on Watanabe. Yes, it's a little bit of a sloppy foul and it probably is a yellow card, and now gives the opportunity for Japan to have a set piece of their own to maybe take the lead.
Absolutely, it's about 35 yards out. It's certainly too far for a shot, but it's certainly close enough to try and get a ball into the box. Ideally, they would have liked it to be a little bit further wide as well, I think, the Japan players, because it's quite central. So any kind of ball lofted into the box is going to be very, very visible from a long way out here for a Bart Verbruggen. But it is going to be Kubo. Whips it in with pace. It's nodded clear by Van Hecker. The loose ball is at the edge of the area. Here is Nakamura. Gets the ball into the box, but that one is blocked by Gravenberch. Played back towards the halfway line where Kamada, the free kick taker, is back there. He sends a diagonal ball over towards the left-hand side. It is kept in play here by Nakamura. He then plays one in towards Maeda. Maeda into the penalty area. The ball is over the top. Oh, it's just a little bit too high. May still be kept in play. That could actually be given as a free kick against the number 8 there, Kubo. Just bumping into Crescencio Somerville, and that will be a free kick to the Netherlands. But the Netherlands, they know they're in a game now. Yeah,
they really do. I was just seeing the replay of that strike from Nakamura, taking the slightest of flick off the heels of Van Hecker. Even without it, it's always going into the back.
But Bruggen's not saving that either way, is he? No.
He's never getting down low in time to make that stop. And a bit of a defensive frailty creeping in there for the Dutch. It will give Japan the world of confidence knowing that they can beat Verbruggen and this Dutch defence. They just need to be a little bit braver and take some more shots towards goal. They're doing well to get in behind the back line, but whenever they do so, the crosses into the box haven't been good enough.
No, they haven't. The crosses haven't been good enough, and I think that's just been something that they've got to try and work on that if they get another opportunity to try and get forward. We've still got just under half an hour to play in this game. It is 1-1. It is the Netherlands back in possession now with Jan-Paul Van Hecker square to Van Dijk. So the Dutch may need to sort of rethink their approach as well. If they're going to just carry on doing what they've been doing up to now, it does seem that with every 10-15 minute burst, the Japanese are just that little bit more confident about being able to deal with it. But Gravenberch, just with one quick turn, gets away from two, and then he gets towards the edge of the area where he's got support from Somerville. Dumfries arriving, but Somerville goes for goal himself! Oh, what a hit that is! Crescencio Somerville, left-footed, in off the post, and the Netherlands take the lead. We've had 3 goals in 13 minutes now.
Well, it really is a tale of two halves. The first half, you couldn't really buy a meaningful opportunity, but this second half has started out absolutely fantastic, and that is the pick of the goal. Somerville just glancing in on the edge of the area, cutting in onto the left-hand side, and curls an absolute beauty into the bottom right-hand corner, leaving Zan Suzuki with absolutely no chance. In fact, he couldn't really do anything with either goal, and he's just curled it around a couple of players. Brilliant finish from the West Ham man.
It's absolutely superb from Son. Look at the whip he gets on that as well. It's very precise, using all of the goal and the inside of the post. but he looks up at in fact, he barely looks up at all. He just knows where the goal is. That's a reverse angle replay there is superb. And Ronald Koeman loves it. Look at the bundle behind him as the substitutes trying to push each other out the way to try and mob with Somerville as he runs all the way to the bench there to celebrate as well. But that's a big goal for him and a big goal for the Dutch.
Yes, it's his first ever international goal in only his third appearance for the Dutch. A wonderful moment there for the 24-year-old, and immediately ran to the dugout to celebrate with Ruud van Nistelrooy, who I imagine would have had his fair share of words in his ear of how best to strike a ball, from one unbelievable striker to one unbelievable strike.
Absolutely, yes. Well, Van Nistelrooy did most of his great work inside the penalty area, so Somerville would have gone above and beyond what his striking coach would have been able to teach him. Of course, I'm saying that as a slight joke. Van Nistelrooy did have a couple of absolute pile drivers from a bit further out as well, and he was an absolute animal in front of goal, Van Nistelrooy, for our younger listeners. But certainly the Dutch now back in front in this game. And we're still 25 minutes plus injury time to play. Every result is still possible here. When Japan scored, it came out of absolutely nowhere. And actually, when the Netherlands took the lead for the second time in this game, that came out of nowhere as well. So it's still a lot of variables in this game that can still go either way. But Maeda now with a bit of a heavy touch. And all of a sudden, the Dutch are pushing forward here. And here comes Gakpo down the left-hand side. He's onside. He breaks into the penalty area. A quick dummy then. It's still Gakpo. Gakpo wants to do it all himself. And he gets charged down. And actually now, as the Dutch are trying to congregate for a corner, now we get confirmation that there was actually an offside at the beginning of that.
Well, in the end, it is amounted to nothing. Gakpo was, maybe about half a yard offside. We're seeing a replay here. Is he off? Yeah, he's quite clearly off. You can see by the lines of the pitch. Maybe the flag could have gone up earlier, but take nothing away from the defence of Japan, but in particular Hiroki Ito throwing his body at that to make the block.
Now we're going to see our first change here, I think, as well now, Will, because it looks like Daisen Maeda is going to be replaced, as indeed is Hiroki Ito. So, in fact, no, I beg your pardon. It's Hiroki Ito staying on the field. It's Ito coming onto the field as well now.
Junior Ito is the man that is coming
Ito
on
it is.
from Genk. I believe he was the man that scored the only goal in the victory over England in the friendlies way back before the World Cup. Priest, as an effort comes from about 35 yards. Well, I have the Bruggen sprawling to his right-hand side there from Takefusa Kubo. It is just over, but it completely caught him and us by surprise.
Well, Kubo, 35 yards out. He puts his foot through. I mean, it's going down the middle. Verbruggen should have always been in range of that, but take nothing away from the effort. Is an absolutely fantastic strike. And just to add as well, that's... well, in fact, the referees just decided to call a drinks break there, but it just gives me time to actually make the point I was going to make, which is that Junior Ito is one of the more experienced cap players in the Japanese squad. This is actually his 70th appearance, so certainly some plenty of experience there for the Genk man. But overall, I think that the Netherlands have. As I say, they've responded superbly with that individual goal from Somerville, but there should still be enough there for Japan to think they can certainly get back into this game.
Oh, definitely, yeah. If they continue to play the expansive football they did when they first went behind, they will have their opportunities to get back into this game. They just need to have that belief and that bravery to take the game to the Dutch, and they could maybe come away with a point. But you also have to say that the Dutch have enough quality as well from the bench and currently on the field to really test the resolve of the Japanese. And I think their all-time record goal scorer, Memphis Depay, is getting stripped and ready to come on.
Yeah, well, Marlon's been very anonymous really in the last 10-15 minutes or so, hasn't he? I mean, it's as I say, I almost feel a little bit sorry for Nakamura because I thought his strike was superb, but now he has been overshadowed by Somerville. Somerville's goal certainly is the pick of the three we've seen so far this evening, and actually Somerville's is already pushing to be one of the best of the tournament so far.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've seen some fantastic individual play and some fantastic strikes in these early exchanges of the tournament. Still plenty of football still to come, but Somerville will have to be up there for the pick of the lot so far in this tournament, as his goal currently separates the two sides. We are actually at the halfway stage of this second half, so will be myself, Will Maxwell, that takes you through to full time of this contest, just seeing replays of the goals that we've seen in this second period. It really is quite unbelievable how different the two halves have been.
Yeah, incredibly so, but it just goes to show what a difference a goal can make. As soon as Japan conceded, they had to respond, and they did. Then the Netherlands then felt unjustly that they were now level in a game when they felt they should have been in front. They've now retaken the lead, and is beautifully poised for this last 22 minutes of the game.
We are back from the hydration break, just waiting for Bart Verbruggen to trudge his way back to the penalty area to restart things. It looks like a triple change is being readied up by the Dutch. Memphis Depay and 10 Koopmeiners are definitely two of them. Just waiting for confirmation on the last. I believe that might be Quentin Timber. That is also looking like he will enter the field of play. Of course, his brother Jurien had to pull out of the squad due to injury, the Arsenal man. We're now seeing these changes being made. Looks like Donyell Marlin, as you rightly pointed out, he hasn't really been involved in the second half. He's the man that's being replaced by Memphis Depay.
Yeah, it does make you wonder why they would have a drinks break, get everyone back into the middle of the field and then announce the substitutions. You think they could do all that in one, but as I say, Donyell Marlin, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
And the next change will see, well, looks things, Crescencio Somerville exit the field of play. And it will be the number 20, Teun Koopmeiners, that comes on. Looks like Tiani Reinders is the other man that will make way. And it is going to be Quentin Timber that comes on in his stead.
Yes, absolutely. So the three changes there. Somerville on a yellow card, maybe that's the thinking behind that. And potentially the Koopmeiners, of course, just offers something a little bit more solid in that midfield area as well.
Yes, 10 Koopmeiners, probably not the same style of player as Somerville on that wing. But he'll still offer the experience and quality as required in the middle of the park. The Juventus man has got 3 goals in. This is now his 29th appearance for his country. Quentin Timber, this is his 12th game for the 24-year-old. In fact, he turns 25 in just 3 days, so he could have a birthday present should he find his way onto the score sheet. Well, already the Dutch come forward here with Koopmeiners, and here is Quentin Timber for his first touch as he runs straight into traffic. Well tackled in the end by Sano. They'll go to Ritsu Doan on the right-hand side, pressurised well by Mickey van der Ven, and he in turn is forced to go back towards the defender in Watanabe. It looks like Takefusa Kubo's taken a knock off the ball. Seeing a replay here, he got clattered by Denzel Dumfries in the build-up there. I think it's his knee or his ankle that took a bit of a bang. He's back onto his feet, and he's going to be told to go off the field by the referee for a while before he is allowed back onto the field of play, and he will be a little bit of a miss before he can come back on. Watching images of fans watching on in the stands. Which way is this game going to go with 19 minutes remaining? Kubo just trying to run off that knock and stretch it out. It might be a little bit of a dead leg, really, for the Japanese midfielder, Real Sociedad man. Long ball forward can't be won by Ayase Ueda. Here is Van der Ven going back towards Frankie de Jong. The Barcelona man floating the ball over the top for the runner Cody Gakpo, who will get on the end of that and keep the ball in play. Drives in towards the penalty area, takes on Ritsu Doan, cuts it, gets a strike away. That's a really good save by Sion Suzuki. Got down low to his right-hand post and managed to keep it out with the strong wrist, which was looking like he was going to nestle in the bottom corner.
Well, it did. I mean, I think that initially I thought he might want to go across the goalkeeper, but sometimes when you can just thread that ball right by the post, it does surprise the goalkeeper, just wrong foot him. And actually, his good reactions there from Suzuki. He always had that post well covered.
He really did, as Memphis Depay will stand over this corner kick. Kubo's actually just hit the deck now off the field to get some ice onto his knee. Corner kick whipped in, knocked on by Van Hecker. Can't find a man in orange. Comfortably picked up by Suzuki. Still for the time being, though, Japan are playing with 10 men. And you do wonder if this injury to Takefusa Kubo is more serious than initially thought, because we are past the minute that he has now been off for. And after he was up on his feet trying to run it off, he's now down on his haunches having to get some ice.
Yeah, they're putting ice on his knee now, so this doesn't look good. I think they are probably going to have to make a change here. Initially, as you said, he didn't actually want to go off, but now he's probably quite happy that the referee forced him, because he certainly seems to have a problem.
Yes, it'll likely have to be one of the forwards that they'll have to bring on here, because the only midfielder that they could bring on in his stead would be Ao Tanaka, who's more of a central midfielder rather than an attacking from Kubo's perspective. So maybe you're looking at the talents of Koki Ogawa from NEC Nijmegen in the Eredivisie. There's an opportunity here for Watanabe. He breaks into the area. His cross is well blocked by Mickey van der Ven. Corner kick for Japan.
Corner kick for Japan. So they finally responded with a bit of attacking possession. And they need to put a bit more pressure on this Dutch defence. They've not really had any kind of pressure since the goal. And the ball down the right-hand side. Good challenge, though, there from Van der Ven. And now we'll see whether or not Japan have the right idea with the corner. It's going to be the substitutes taking it first. They're going to make a double change.
Yeah, Risu Doan is one of them that is come off. The Japanese captain, he has run his race. And it's Yukinari Sugawara, the former Southampton man, that has come on in his stead. And it looks like it's going to be Ayase Ueda and Takefusa Kubo that are both coming off as well. So Kubo is unable to continue, and it's Takehiro Tomiyasu, the former Arsenal man, that is coming on, as well as, I believe that might have been Koki Ogawa, that is coming on as a like-for-like for Ueda.
No, absolutely. I'm just trying to work out whether or not, because with Watanabe and Doan both off, it's the two right-sided players that need to be replaced, whether or not we're going to see Tomiyasu playing as the midfielder of that, or the defender of that. But here comes the corner kick from Ito. It's an outswinger, outswings too much, all the way to the edge, and then a follow-up effort is lofted over the bar by a good few yards. A wasted set piece there for Japan.
Yeah, really quite wasted there by Japan. Could have done so much more with that opportunity, but alas, they've just gifted the ball straight back to the Dutch. In terms of the change up top for Japan, they've still got plenty of goals. Whilst Ueda had scored 16 in 40 appearances, this now being the 16th for Ogawa. He's got 11 in those appearances, so he's arguably more clinical than Ueda, as Timber tries to flick it on, going towards Coop Miners, who was being tightly marked by, I believe it was Taniguchi in the middle. Couldn't quite wrap his foot around it. Come to be saved by Zion Suzuki. 15 minutes to go here. Is in the Netherlands 2, Japan 1. Do you see Japan getting this elusive equaliser?
Well, I'll be honest, I didn't see them getting their first equaliser, so I'll say they still have a chance to get a second, as the Dutch are making a bit of a mess of dealing with a bouncing ball at the edge of their own penalty. They do eventually get it away, and, the Japan have now won the ball back despite their appeals for a free kick.
Daishi Kamada will try and roll away from Teun Koop Miners. He's wanting a free kick to come, isn't going to go his way. Ismail Elthaf inviting play to continue. Right hand side now for Junya Ito. Back it goes to Takehiro Tomiyasu, finding support in Taniguchi. Now with Kamada over towards that left hand side in Hiroki Ito, the Bayern Munich man, going towards Daishi Kamada once again. Shogo Taniguchi rolls it in for Ito towards the right hand side now in Sugawara. Wanted to take it past Van der Ven, instead cuts back and away. Finds support in Tomiyasu. Ito, he whips it across. That's completely misplaced. Doesn't find any man in blue, but it will be kept in at the far side by the number 21 in Hiroki Ito, and he's done well to win a throw in there after being marked by Denzel Dumfries. Ito takes a throw in quickly. Has to go backwards though to Nakamura, the goal scorer. Tomiyasu, the former Arsenal man, now was most recently at Ajax. His contract terminated at the end of this campaign, though. Sugawara, ball into the area. Oh, there's a lack of communication there between Ogawa and Sano. Picked up by Nakamura. He puts another ball into the box. That's dangerous. Again, that's going to be dealt with and turned away. Throw in again for Japan. They're trying to put their foot on the throat of the Dutch.
They are, and it's working up to a point. The Dutch have been pegged back into their own half now for a good few minutes. It's just a case of Japan being able to use it. Now, we saw that one corner kick which wasn't particularly well used. Now there's a chance to try and get the ball in with a long throw, and it's going to be launched in here by Sugawara.
Yes, it is the former Southampton man launching this into the area. That is comfortably dealt with by Van Dijk. Picked up again by Taniguchi. They've got to go all the way back towards Zion Suzuki now, with the pressure of the Dutch forcing them back into their own half. 12 minutes of the mandatory 90 to go. Suzuki to Ito. On the left-hand side for Nakamura. Back it goes to the 27-year-old. Ito finding Shogo Taniguchi. Now with Tomiyasu into the centre circle now to find Sano. Just overran it there, and on the stretch loses it to Quinton Timber. Goes all the way back to Verbruggen. Will take no chances in just launching that ball forward and away from danger. The header down will find a man in blue though. The long ball by Kamada comfortably blocked by Ryan Gravenberg. They will restart proceedings once again from the throw-in. Japan desperately searching for their second equaliser of this contest. Currently no real chances for them to find, but maybe an opportunity here with Junior Ito away from De Jong. He cuts the ball back. Sugawara just couldn't generate enough power, was falling back with the effort, and he just scoops the ball kindly into the hands of Bart Verbruggen.
That was inviting a low shot, drilling it past the keeper, instead of which, as you said, he was losing his balance and he ends up scooping the ball up in the air, and it was a much easier save for Verbruggen than it might have been.
Yes, it really could have been so much better there for the Japanese, but they come forward again, this time down the left-hand wing, and it is going to be Nakamura who rolls that back for Daishi Kamada. Support in Ogawa ahead of him, then goes towards Nakamura, now with Taniguchi to bring this ball further forward. Support to his left, its head goes right towards Tomiyasu. Will Sugawara whip the ball into the area? He's going to be held up by Mickey van der Ven. Tomiyasu tries to fire it in towards Ogawa, who was lurking inside the area and on the penalty spot. Well defended by Van Hecker, just to deflect that back towards his goalkeeper. Seeing another replay of that chance for Sugawara. Didn't really have time to take a touch either.
No, he didn't. Ideally, that ball might have been a yard or two further in front of him so he could really run onto it. It was almost played straight at his foot, and he ended up having to really sort of dance to get an attempt. But interesting stat, 9 efforts from the Dutch, 7 of them on target, 7 in total for Japan, with just 2 on target.
Yes, they've definitely been the likely goal scorers over the course of this contest out of the Dutch, as we're seeing another change here. Defensive one. Ryan Gravenberg off, and on comes that Manchester City man in Nathan Ake. So could they be going to a back 5 here, Paul?
They potentially are. I just wanted to see if there was maybe another change here for Ronald Koeman, but there isn't. It's just that change. I mean, but you could argue that's actually a really big compliment to Japan, that with 9 minutes plus injury time to go, one of the best, most industrious midfielders for the Dutch has been taken off and replaced by an out-and-out centre-back.
Yeah, they are looking to settle for this 2-1 victory. It's all about game management here from the Dutch, as Tomiyasu goes back to Taniguchi. He'll find support in Nakamura. Towards the left-hand side in Hiroki Ito. Hiroki Ito does well to hold on to possession and goes towards his centre-back partner of Taniguchi. Ueda over towards the left now for Nakamura once more. Just not much in the way of movement ahead of him, so has to go back to Taniguchi. Tomiyasu, 8.5 minutes to go of the Manchester 90. Listen to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Netherlands 2, Japan 1, the current scoreline, as the poor pass from Japan is cut out, but the equally poor ball from Frenkie de Jong can't find Depay. Now Japan restart things from their own defensive third once again, not really being pressurised too intensely high up the field. There also isn't a great deal of pace in their attack either, Japan. There's just too many bodies in front of them, as Daishi Kamada goes for a bit of a hit and hope, looking for Junior Ito, who beat Ake to it and then wins on the second time of asking. Lovely, industrious forward play by Junior Ito, and out of absolutely nothing, he has won a throw-in in a really dangerous area.
I'm very impressed with this approach here from Japan. They really are pushing back at the Dutch, and the Dutch can't really respond other than just defending right at the edge of their own box. Here comes the ball in from Tomiyasu.
It's well dealt with by the first goal scorer for the Dutch in Van Dijk, and Memphis Depay has just launched himself straight into a Japanese defender. That's going to be a free kick for Japan, and it's also going to be a yellow card for the substitute Memphis Depay. He can't really complain about that.
No, he can't. I mean, he knows exactly where Taniguchi is. He then turns and pretty much just crashes into him with his shoulder. I mean, that, looking at it from that angle and the way that Depay looked at him, I wouldn't even be surprised if VAR had a quick look at that. It's probably just below what you would say a straight red card, but it's as I say, you've seen him given for stuff like that. It's not great from Depay. In the meantime, a change here as well now for Japan. Ayase Ueda is going to be going off. He's struggled to see much of the ball now, and it's Shiage to replace him.
Yeah, Kento Shiogai, the Wolfsburg forward, is on in his stead. Only his 3rd appearance for his country, the 21-year-old. What a chance to make himself a national hero. But I'll have to win the ball back first, as Tomiyasu is adjudged to have fouled Frenkie de Jong. That'll be a free kick for the Netherlands, midway inside their own half. They need to be smart with how they use the ball here. They don't need to throw bodies forward at this point, Netherlands, but they just need to hold on to the ball just to quell the momentum of the Dutch, as we're now seeing, or Japan I should say, as we are seeing a change for the Dutch. Cody Gakpo is the man who is coming off, and Brian Brobby's the man coming off.
That's an interesting change, really, isn't it? Because they've taken off a forward player but replaced him with a sort of out-and-out number 9, really. I mean, Brobby is a big, stocky forward. He's had some excellent games for Sunderland this season. And, yeah, I mean, if they get the ball to him, he's going to be able to get further up the field and just try and relieve some of that defensive pressure.
13th appearance for his country there for the Sunderland man. Just one international goal to show for his exploits, as we have a throw-in for the Dutch just inside their own half on the far right-hand side. Just totting up the substitutes that we've had so far. We've had 5 for Japan, and we've had all 5 now for the Dutch as well. So this will be it till the final whistle, as Ito is being hustled and harried by Brobby, who digs out a cross straight down the throat of Sion Suzuki, who bowls it out again, and now Japan will come forward once more. Sugawara launches this up the field, looking for the run of Shiogai. Van Dijk can't hold on to it. It knocks out of play for a throw-in, immediately barks the linesman. He thought he was fouled there by Shiogai. I didn't see enough in that, personally, from the Wolfsburg man. Here's Junya Ito. Sugawara drops the shoulder to get away from Ake. Sano finding Taniguchi. Space here on the left-hand side. Ito digs out a cross, diverted away by De Jong, straight into Kamada, who gets away from Depay. Ito then does so well to get away from De Jong, and now an opportunity here for Ogawa. He puts the ball in dangerously, just to lose the striker. Goes to Junya Ito. Still the opportunity is there for Japan. Turned away by Van Dijk. Knock on by Tomiyasu. Is picked up by Kamada. They're shepherded away, but they still hold on to possession. That was dangerous though for Japan.
That was dangerous. I just wonder if that ball from Ito, maybe a ball on the deck would have been better there. Floating that ball and just gave those Dutch defenders more time to adjust. But it's still Japan in possession. Here they go again down the right-hand side. It's Tomiyasu who was brought down. That will be a free kick.
There will be a free kick. It doesn't look like there'll be a yellow card for Teun Koopmeiners. It will just be another opportunity, though, for Japan to put this into the penalty area. Needs to be a good delivery here. With Junya Ito, that will stand over this. There's every player back for the Dutch. They are 1 in the wall, 9 in the area. Just 6 to aim for in blue for Japan. It is turned away well by Brobby. Picked up by Nakamura. Support to his left in Sano. Can he put a dangerous ball into the box? His head goes towards Hiroki Ito. Nakamura again, the goal scorer for the Blue Samurai. That's dangerous. Headed away well, though, by Van der Ven. Ito to Tomiyasu. Back to Junya Ito once again. He tries to take on Memphis Depay. Gets away from him. Flicks it in towards Taishi Kamada. Poor touch. Picked off by Mickey Van der Ven. That will be a corner kick again for Japan.
Yeah, he's furious there, Van der Ven, with all the censorship of the bad words. He basically says, "Wake up, man." That's what he said to the linesman there. But looking at 2 replays, I still think the linesman got it absolutely right. It should be a corner kick, and it's going to be an outswinger here from Ito.
Junya Ito with the delivery. Turned away well by De Jong at the near post.
It's far too low. He's got players in the middle of that 6-yard box, and that barely even cleared the near post.
Yes, there's another poor delivery, which you've seen time and time again from Japan in this match. Nakamura goes for the crossfield pass over to the opposite wing for Sugawara, who threads the needle to find Ito. It's a lovely ball. Ito tries to dig out a cross, really well blocked again. Denzel Dumfries doing his defensive duties.
Yeah, last-ditch defending there from the Dutch. Do you think, being super pedantic, could Ito have maybe played that ball a split second quicker? It would have been a chance to get his square, but they get the consolation of a corner kick. Ito's across to take it, and it's got to be a much better delivery than some of the ones we've seen from him already.
He needs to go towards the far post, because that's where 5 of the Japanese attackers are lurking at the moment. He goes towards centre circle. The header comes in. Oh, it's in the back of the net. They have got their late equaliser, and it is their substitute striker in Koki Ogawa that has found the back of the net. His 12th international goal, and very few will be more important than that. 2 apiece.
Look at how these Japanese players have reacted. Look at how the Japanese fans have reacted. The passion there. Such a great header as well. Verbruggen gets hands to it, but he can't keep it out. We've had poor crosses from the substitute Ito since he's come on. That was a much better ball. He gets a bit more of an angle. It swerves away, and the header goes back to goal. We'll see the replay again here. Well, as the ball is played in, It's a powerful header, but I just wonder, it's pretty much straight at Verbruggen. Has he got to do better there? There's a deflection as well, in fairness.
It's going to go down as a Daishi Kamada goal. It's not going to go for Ogawa, because it flicked the top of the head of Daishi Kamada. Maybe that wrong foot's for Verbruggen, but you would say any goalkeeper worth their salt should be doing better there, because he gets two hands to it. He palms into the roof of the net.
And it's not right in the corner. It's pretty much straight in the line of where he is already, so he's just got to get a better arm to it to turn it away from goal. And it's a massive goal for Japan. Our referee, Mr. Elfad, just making sure those Japanese players are at the edge of the centre circle now. And as we restart play, we've only got 40 seconds of the regulation 90. I'm thinking probably 6 minutes, 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there. And I do also wonder, with 6-7 minutes, as the referee accidentally body checks Junior Ito, that will be a little drop ball for Japan. If it is that amount of time for added on, there is obviously time for a winner and momentum. Maybe Japan could do it.
And bearing in mind the Dutch have taken off one of their best box-to-box midfielders to replace him with a centre-back, so they've got even less option to go forward now. And as you mentioned, all substitutes have been used up. All
substitutes used up. They're currently operating essentially with a back five. They still have the likes of their all-time record goal scorer Memphis Depay on the field, Brian Brobby, an out-and-out striker. 6 minutes are shown at the end of this contest. Japan other side with the possession. Do they have enough about them to take a famous victory and grab a late winner here? Ito gets away from Van de Ven. Cynical pullback. That's a free kick. That's also a yellow card.
The Dutch are starting to feel the pressure here now. They are starting to feel the pressure now, but we can see that's a petty foul there from Van de Ven. But I suppose he would argue if he's going to do that, better to do it near the halfway line than near your own penalty area.
Yes, it was maybe a tad needless, but he will happily take that yellow card just to disrupt the momentum. Nevertheless, the free kick is taken short to Ito on the right hand side. He'll try and take on Van de Ven. Goes back towards Tomiyasu. Towards the left hand side now in Hiroki Ito, finding the supporting cast of Nakamura. Poor pass though by the opening goal scorer. Van Hecker goes straight back to Verbruggen. It's out of his feet to launch that ball further forward. Header on by Sugawara. Will that be kept in by Ito? It will, but Ake's there to fire away from danger. Depay, surrounded by a number of Japan players. Eventually it's Daishi Kamada that goes back towards Ryan Suzuki, and they are just so eager to win the second ball. Japan is giving no space for the Dutch to breathe.
No, not at all. And it's incredible how this game has gone in the last 15-20 minutes. To think that the Dutch are basically just hanging on, sitting back, doing what they can to not allow Japan to score a third. It's quite incredible as the ball goes over the top now. Verbruggen does well though, gets to the edge of his area and just about times that one to perfection to make sure no Japanese player can get on the end of it. But yeah, it's a fascinating end to this game, and credit to Japan. It's been a fabulous game. I've really enjoyed it.
Yes, the first half maybe left a little bit to be desired, but the exploits of the second have more than made up for that and have made it an enjoyable watch over the course of the 92 minutes that we have played. Still 4 of the added time to go. The Dutch with a rare prolonged period of possession here as Frenkie de Jong brings the ball forward. Do the Dutch have something in them to get the late winner? Dumfries, back it goes to Frenkie de Jong once again. Bring this ball up the field, drop of the shoulder, doesn't get away from Ogawa. Eventually goes towards the right hand side for Quinton Timber. Now with Dumfries, looks up, delivers a dangerous cross into the area. There was Van de Ven, Koopmeiners, that rose highest. Sugawara and Tomiyasu doing their defensive duties, but looks things has come off Koopmeiners last, and that will be a goal kick for Japan. Taking another replay of a strike from the referee's viewpoint. It is a more severe deflection from Kamada than I initially thought in terms of the
yes, and I think we do have to qualify that and explain that we were very sort of harsh on Verbruggen, but actually with both of the goals tonight he was unsighted for the first one, and for that second one the deflection it does make it a lot more difficult. I just think from the replay point of view, when you see the fact that he's got two strong hands on it and the header's not even in the corner of the net, it doesn't look good from the goalkeeper from that perspective. But then his teammates had plenty of time to stop that, so that ball even reaching him, and indeed the way in which the Dutch have played in the last 50 minutes, they've been encouraging Japan to get forward. As Dumfries goes forward on a rare occasion, but his ball into the box is straight into the arms of Suzuki. The Dutch attack has pretty much gone dead in this game.
Yeah, they don't look likely that they're going to find the elusive winner. Suzuki. It was rather interesting there when the cross came in. He caught it, flopped to the floor as if he was going to waste some valuable seconds and looking like he was going to try and settle for the point, then gone up quickly and tried to launch it.
Maybe he got reminded by his bench that tactic doesn't work anymore at this tournament now.
Yeah, he might as well go for it as Sugawara launches the ball away from danger. It will be kept in by Virgil van Dijk. 2 minutes to go of added time. Looks like the impetum and momentum has just waned a bit, and I think both these sides, whether they like it or not, may have to settle for a point.
They may have to now. I think that if you'd have said right now, this second, who wants to draw more, I think the Dutch would probably be quite happy to win the game, and Japan may actually want to play out the last 90 seconds to try and win. But then having said that, if you'd have said to Japan before kickoff you get a 2-2 draw with the Netherlands, they probably would take it.
Oh, they would definitely take it, and they would back themselves to get either the same or even better results against the likes of Tunisia and Sweden. And even if they draw both those games, ending up with 3 points, the same as winning one and losing the others, and they would come away with a 0 goal difference, which would put them in fantastic stead as the cross in by Timber is blocked by Hiroki Ito. Nakamura and Ito almost collide with each other. The clearance is blocked, turned away by Ogawa, and flicked on by de Jong to go back towards Verbruggen. We're into the final minute now. The Dutch may be looking a likelier team to get a winner if they are smart with how they play. De Jong lifting the ball into the box, turned away by Taniguchi. Poor pass by Kamada back to Sano. And Kamada tries to launch the ball forward, picked off there, forced to Depay. Timber on the edge, inside the area, tries to dig out across. No one there in orange to get on the end of it. Van de Ven, though, still got bags of energy. And he keeps the ball in as well, the Tottenham defender. Van de Ven into the box of Memphis Depay. Held up by Sano. Lovely defending in the end by the midfielder. And eventually that will be brought away for Junior Ito. Will he try and run past his man? No, he's held up by Nathan Ake. He goes back to Sugawara. And Japan, I think, are going to happily hold on to possession here for the final 10 seconds of this contest. Hiroki Ito on the left-hand side. After walking pace currently for Japan, as they're not being pressurised by the Dutch. They're waiting for this full-time whistle. Ito's making the point to the referee, and the final whistle is now blown. The full-time score in this World Cup clash, it's the Netherlands 2, Japan 2, and we'll see you in the next one.